music is a language. Music is something that everyone understands, you know? To me, it doesn't matter what you listen to. It's music is emotion. It's beautiful. It's magic. It's whether it's Pig Destroyer or Rihanna, it doesn't matter.
What's up, everybody? It's Keefy of GhostCultMac.com. I am once again joined by a person I am honored to call a friend as well as a peer, and that is Gabriel Palacio of AntiMozdeBeast. How are you doing, friend?
I'm doing good. Thank you so much, Keefy, man. I
Yeah, man,
appreciate
it's
it.
been, yeah, of course, of course. You know, we go way back at this point, and we followed your whole career. And, you've been very prolific, even through the worst of times. You seem to always be doing something productive and artistic, which I, as a person that loves art and artists, I'm grateful for.
Yeah, thanks, man. I try. I try my best.
Yeah, it's been wild. You were kind of spared. I know the hurricane season was particularly terrible down there, so I
It
hope you've
was,
been
but
okay.
I'm fine. I live in mid Florida, so the hurricane was really more north than anything. It didn't hit me too hard, so it was just rain.
I've really only been to Tampa and Orlando, which I like everybody, right? And I'm not a amusement park person, but I happened to go there twice for business and once for a horror convention that Ghost Cult was part of. And I had a good time, man. People were nice, and I had gator jerky, and it was really humid even in January, and I was miserable. I was like, I'm too round and sweaty for this thing to be this hot all the time. But like people who live there, like everyone I talk to loves it, bands and friends, they all love it down there.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm close to a town that does have an industrial scene. You know what I mean? But
Nice.
it's very difficult for me to perform there because being that, I don't have enough money to buy equipment to perform live. I have a studio, I have a home studio and I have my equipment and I just that's why I work so much because since I'm not performing, I'm just recording and writing and recording every day. So
That's fair enough. What you got to do is get some music out to some club nights and DJ nights and people who do, like goth night or whatever, and maybe you pass them on somebody like a CD or something and see if they'll play some of it. There's definitely a scene down there for that, and I think there's even one of our writers is down there, and he's kind of like a very classic goth type of person, and as you would imagine, the stereotype. But he leans into it, so I think that's cool. And yeah, I've heard that Florida is a great nightlife and a great dance music scene, and it kind of brings us to Vision. You have a new EP out that's also just recently released. You released your last full length album on my birthday in September, so
oh,
it was a pleasant birthday present that you didn't intend on. And I will say there's like a very pronounced from your previous work. There's a much more pronounced like synthwave dancey vibe that I really love because actually I've been like heavily into this music. Like my chill out music is like Gunship, and Boy Harsher and Adult and artist, Kanga artists. Although I know Kanga's kind of going not retiring, but retiring the Kanga personality and music and doing something else soon. But like that's kind of what I'm into for my relaxed music. So used to be classical. Now that stuff bores me. But like, yeah, I really dig this record. If you want to talk about the EP first and just let everybody know about it because it's the most new thing, we'll link
yeah.
everything in the description. But talk a little bit about the new EP, and then let's unpack Vision a little bit.
Sure. Thank you. The new EP's Roman Catholic Prison System is a very raw edition. It's a Roman Catholic Prison System raw edition. It's fierce. It's strong. It's fucking. Can I say the F word? It's it's fucking intense. It's intense as shit, man. I was going through things. I was being basically just in my own corner in this world. I've been living in a corner, and I've been recording, and I've been fucking just doing what I have to do to not only get my message across, but all the emotion and all the raw anger that I have inside. So when you listen to that album, you'd understand. It's called Raw Edition also because I didn't put very much magic into the production. I just wanted it to be fierce and raw and bold. So
I dig it. I can't wait to dig in and check that out also. And we're all kind of living in our own little corner lately.
yeah.
Everybody in the world. I still feel like we're just not. We never recovered from like 3 years ago. I know people are sick of talking about everything and masks but I just feel like the toll that it took on people, on humanity. Like you see people don't know how to act much anymore in public, and you see tons of Karens with their phones fighting, and you see like people don't know how to just enjoy a movie in the movie theater anymore. Like we all lost our social graces in just a few months' time.
Yeah.
People just like they whatever airs of respectfulness they had is gone. This is across the board. It's not. I'm not targeting anybody. I'm just saying, like in general, my I see it out here. I'm in a much small. I moved from Brooklyn, which was enormous and fear and like just very kind of frightening, full of people, to a smaller town, San Francisco. It's still a big city, but yeah, people don't know how to act anymore. And so I also feel like I hunker down and I focus on my laser focus, or at least as much as my brain will let me laser focus. Sometimes it's like, but again, that's why the chill out music is the synth wave and beats and dance music, even though I don't dance much. But I totally relate, is what I'm saying to you. And maybe that's what we need right now is like tough music for tough times.
Yeah, maybe. Sometimes like they say that that violence solves nothing, but sometimes you need that aggression and you need that anger just to get through to people so they can understand, like this world is not as beautiful as some people lay it out to be, because it's just not. It's not. It's a very fierce and brutal existence. So
Very, very reminiscent. I know people took it the wrong way, and maybe a lot of people co-opted the message of the Joker movie. But I also think of the end of the movie Seven, where the John Doe character is like, we see stuff and we just let it slide every day. You can't just tap him on the shoulder anymore and say, "Excuse me." You got to hit him with a sledgehammer to make him wake up and understand. So I totally sympathize with that, and maybe that's what we need. We need to get shouted at again and yelled at again.
mm,
And I'm here for it. There's a bunch of things on Vision, but musically, lyrically, I love the sequencer stuff. It really took me back and
mm,
aback. I really love like how much work you put into that, because it's not easy to do all that programming and playing. And then I love the fact that you met, I think for the probably, unless I'm mistaken, for the first time that I can recall in your career across the different releases, where you really put the sequencers with the acoustic guitar. So it's like really raw, and back to kind of how I know how you start your process a lot of times is on acoustic guitar or keyboards and or beat. And I really love that. There's a lot of songs where there's a really cool kind of juxtaposition of acoustic guitar and synths that's really unique.
thanks, man. Thank you.
Was there like, did you want to bring this out like pronounced for the first time ever? Because again, maybe it's
Um,
happened here and there in the past, but not this much.
Oh yeah, definitely. What I do basically is it's kind of like this. You know how people, creative people say, "Oh man, I'm blocked." I have writer's block. I can't write. I can't do anything. So what I do basically is I write and I write a lot of poetry. And if I can't do anything with my poetry, I go straight to my keyboards. And I'm playing on my keyboards. And if I'm fucked on my keyboards, I go straight to my guitar. And if I'm fucked on my guitar, I start singing. And then you realize that with all these options, you'll never be blocked. You can always be creative. There's nothing that can stop you.
I
Options.
think I think yeah, of course, give yourself more the biggest palette to paint with. I do. I think one of our interviews, you definitely had your guitar out the whole time, and I think there was definitely I missed the when we were all suddenly live streaming from our houses because we couldn't go anywhere. I love that you used to just kind of play guitar and chat with people, but
Yeah.
you can only do so much of that before like before it kind of plays itself out. But I thought you like there was really like a nice unifying moment when people would live stream a lot. We used to do it a lot ourselves and just kind of shoot the shit because we needed humanity. We needed that human touch,
Yeah.
oddly. And but yeah, man, it's Vision's a very deep record. There's no, I thought it was like even the interlude-ish track that's there. I thought they were all there for a reason.
Yeah.
The final track reminded me of like some 70s acid rock, like a secret track on like Coven or something like that, like
Yeah.
a ritual that I
Yeah.
thought was like, this should be in a movie. This is phenomenal. But I love the whole thing. And I
Like a
really,
piece of
again, it's like all your records always take people on a journey, but I really like this is very, I think, very specific to this record. There's a lot of new things. If people have liked your stuff before, if they haven't checked you out before, I think they would get a lot out of this record
yeah.
specifically.
Yeah, yeah, man. I put a lot of effort into this record. Is a com is a is that is the word compilation? Is that the
Yeah,
word?
that's fair. That's fair. Yeah.
Compilation of the work that I put into AntiMozdeBeast over the past 5, 6, 7 years. So
Yeah, you can hear a little bit of everything in it, but also it stands on its own, I think, and is its own thing. And I think, like, obviously, a lot of your typical topics and subject matter lyrically, from what I can guess, are there. What I understood, I love the lyric video. I was like, oh, finally a lyric video. I love those.
yeah,
I seem to be in the minority. I love a good lyric video because it
yeah,
helps me, like, understand the artist and the song a little better. But I think there was also some maybe like really interpersonal stuff on here, like relationships and
yeah,
I think there was some topics here you haven't touched on much in the past, as much as here. So
yeah,
again, I think this is a real unique record in your whole collection of work.
yeah, definitely. Vision was something that I tried to grasp and not only like try to hyper extend to other people's imagination, but also kind of like deal with the shit that I was going through every day. So it's music is a language, and it's fucking it's music is something that everyone understands. And it doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter what you listen to. It's music is emotion. It's beautiful. It's magic. It's whether it's fucking Pig Destroyer or Rihanna. You know, it doesn't matter. It doesn't.
Right on. Rihanna's tight. I always was a Riri fan. A lot of pop music isn't great, but this year I discovered a handful of newer artists that I was like, no, I don't hate this. This is okay.
Yeah,
I'm not one of those metalheads. Like, it's not metal. I don't like it. I started out liking all kinds of stuff and pop
yeah,
music
yeah.
and
Maturity.
classical and everything. Yeah, I guess maybe.
Yeah.
Like, part of me feels like
It depends. No,
a forever
I
little kid though.
yeah, yeah, very true. But it's I'm not gonna listen to what people listen to, but I respect the fact that, music touches your soul. So
They used to say like, oh, X number of millions of fans of so and so can't be wrong. I mean, they could be wrong, but
mhm.
like, like I actually listened to an entire Taylor Swift album. My friends throw a movie night every month and they do raffles prizes, and I won the Taylor Swift recent album. And so my friend was like, go home and listen to the record, and we're going to talk about it next week. And I was like, okay, I'm going to listen to it by Monday. And I listened to the whole thing, and I was like, this isn't the worst thing I've ever heard. It's okay. It's pop music, and like I don't particularly like gravitate to it or relate to it because I'm not a 30-something-year-old chick. But like I understand why she's so popular. Like beside the fact that apparently her shows are very entertaining, she makes music that everybody can relate to, and some of that is I get why pop music is popular because it's the most relatable and easiest to digest. So I was
Yeah,
like, I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it.
yeah.
Um, a little bit further on Vision, I really do feel like I know that you like, again, this is your music's an extension of you, just like your poetry, just like anything else you
Mhm.
might be interested in. Do you think like I could hear like some of this stuff really reminded me of some of the Fear Factory remix records from the 90s, right? So Fear Factory used to do this thing where they did like an album and then an album of remixes. Rob Zombie copied this with White Zombie and then later his solo career. And I know you're a big fan of those bands. But I was like, man, I would love to see. It'd be hard because it's your baby and you don't want to let it go. But it would be interesting to see if other people took your music and what else they could like derive from it, without going haywire. I don't know if that's something you ever considered, but I think that'd be real interesting if you pick the right artists.
So I guess I would have to say obviously Nine Inch Nails, Pussifier, Rob Zombie, Marilyn Manson, Ministry, Skinny Puppy, Signostic with Shadows Upon the Earth. It's a little techno-ish, you know what I mean? It's the only album that's kind of dancey. I mean, it's the only track that's kind of dancey, yeah, like you mentioned before. But that derives from agrotech inspirations like Alien Vampires, Signostic, Siva Six, um, and Blood, but not Blood in this moment. Blood. There's an underground Spanish band from South America somewhere called Blood. Agrotech is really good. It's kind of very perverse, and vulgar, but it's very good.
Nice. We like Perverse and Vulgar. Yeah, Pussifer also does a lot of remix records, and some of those are my favorite, actually. All remixed up, which is the remix album from "Condition to My Parole" was my personal favorite on that one. And yeah, those are some great ones. But yeah, man, I think it'd be kind of fun. I know it'd be hard. It'd be like I'm a control freak for what I do, and so it's hard for me to let go and spread the responsibility and even like give my baby away to someone else to do. And I had to learn how to do that to last this long doing this. Or even when I played in bands, I was probably considered like an incorrigible dick. Like, oh, I can't work with this guy. He's like, rehearse it 1,000 times. I was like Kubrick, man, like a million takes.
Yeah,
But that's me and my process. But it's hard. Not everybody can, you can trust,
yeah.
basically trust with your baby. But I think it'd be fun if there were some contemporary artists of like on, contemporary of artists of yours, not just heroes, but just people. I don't know if there would be enough of
Oh,
them to do like maybe a remix EP or something of your stuff. I think it would be interesting.
yeah,
But you'd have to trust some. You'd have to give some of your stuff up to someone else and be like, "Good luck. See what you do with it. I hope I don't hate it." Because like there's that gnawing
yeah,
personal,
yeah,
not no pun intended, but your vision, the auteur theory of like Charlie Chaplin used to write the film, direct the film, act in the film, do the soundtrack, do the lighting, do the paint the scenes. Like he was involved to every element. I think Tim Burton was like that for a long time, except for the music. He directed every part of it. He casted everybody. He wrote the script. He directed the movie. And except for the music was the one thing he couldn't do himself. And luckily, he picked Danny Elfman to do a lot of it. I think it's hard to let go, but I think it'd be interesting if you did. That's what I'm saying.
oh yeah, definitely. I do have connections that are DJs in New York. They've requested to play my music, and I agreed. The thing is, like, I know exactly what you're saying. Say one day, AntiMozdeBeast has become more well known than it is today, and people be like, "Holy shit, this track is really good. Let's sample it." That kind of question is what you're saying. I don't know how to go about that. I really wouldn't. It depends on the artist and it depends on the message they're sending. Say they just cut apart my song "Portrait of Apocalypse," and they just cut it apart into pieces and then make it all religious and shit. Then no, no, I wouldn't like that.
Right, right. I actually had a fun interview a while back, maybe going back 5 years or more. I interviewed Chip Zenough of Enough's Enough, and he's from Chicago, and he ended up crossing paths with Kanye West, weirdly, and Kanye was like, "Oh, I really like your music," and he was like, really, you like rock music, you like hair metal?" And he was like, "Yeah." And then Enough's Enough was always kind of like a little better than hair metal because they like the Beatles a lot. They do a lot of Beatles sounding psychedelic rock. And he was like, "Yeah, like let me get some of your stems." And Chip was like, "Yeah, no, you can pay me to be on your track, or you can pay me to use my tracks, but I'm not going to give you my raw files to take and
Yeah,
do whatever you want with." He's like, "Absolutely not." But he got paid apparently very well by Kanye to be on a couple of Kanye records, like before, in the before times. So I just thought that was a really funny story to relate to. It'd be kind of funny if somebody, you're far from obscure, but it'd be fun if someone big found you and was like, "I have to have Sky Unfurled as a sample or something," or Maladies of the Mad, which is probably my favorite track on here.
thank you.
Yeah, that's a really great one. And again, it's got that vibe. Like I just like, oh man, I love this sequencer part over and over. It kind of reminded me of 2001 or THX 138, 1138, whatever that first George Lucas movie is, right? The futuristic thing.
Okay.
Um, and I've watched Ex Machina recently, and I had that in my head also. So like, yeah, it's kind of like the soundtrack to a futuristic movie that we haven't hasn't been made yet. But I really dig this. This is a real fun. I'm sure you change so much from project to project. It's always you,
So
but I like it's always got your DNA all over it, so it doesn't sound unlike you. But I like that everything you've ever done just kind of continues to move along and
that's what I
change.
try to do. I try to make all my albums like a novel, basically, like some Tolstoy novel, like War and Peace or some shit. Like every album has to be different, but it's this continuing plot or a continuing theme or something like that. I don't know, but that's what I try to do.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, more lyric videos if you can. I know they take time to make.
Yeah.
Um, and time is money, yours or someone else's. And like I said, I really dug that Masquerade of Death lyric visualizer, whatever they're called now.
Thanks,
And
man.
I'm still a fan of them. I think they help. They're good for promotion and they help with things. Just in the meantime, beside music, what else are you doing these
To keep
days? What's
keep
going?
alive.
What are you? How are you? Yeah, how are you keeping?
I'm all right, man. I just make the money I need to survive. Um I don't really purchase much because I can't afford it. I just do what I have to do to survive, try to get my name out there. You know what I mean? I go to shows. I try to connect with people back from New York because you know, I lived there for most of my life. And I record. I all I do I just fucking I just work on my music, man, all the time.
Right on. That's the process, right? I went back last year for a visit, for quite a bit of a visit. Actually, it was probably too long, and people were probably tired and happy to see me, and then not happy to see me. Probably, why are you still here? But it was interesting to go back. You know, there's an expression from literature that says you can't go home again,
Yeah.
which is a little partially true. You know, but it was fun and it was good to go. I took a trip for a day. I met some friends of mine who kind of similar peers of what Ghost Cult does, and we walked around like the Lower East Side and was like, oh, that used to be CBGB's, and that was Coney Island High, and that was Continental, and that was Dick Manitoba's. Like I was like, all the places that are gone, the tunnel and the spiral and all the like 80s and 90s A7, although kind of A7 is back in a different way now. Um, but it's interesting, like how much the city has changed and what's like the I would like to have seen. I wish like CBGBs in particular would have been kept as like a landmark and not gutted. I do appreciate that the guy that has the store there now does love punk and he loves rock. And so he made it kind of like a little museum of the place, but also it's like, it's not quite the same.
Yeah.
And I think there was supposed to be a CBGB's museum in Vegas, but it hasn't happened yet. But
That'd be
in any
nice.
case, yeah, what's good in Miami? I imagine Cuban food is the thing. I
Yeah.
was like, what do you
Uh,
do in Miami? Like,
uh,
obviously, you mentioned offline that there's a dance music scene there, right? So there's
yeah.
club nights, and then I guess the food must be amazing.
Yeah, I guess. I'm not really into. I weigh 137 pounds, man. I'm 5'9", so I just go out for coffee, really, and meet people. Go out for coffee, go on walks. My cousin has a dog. What kind of dog is this? It's not a Mastiff. It's a Neapolitan. No, it's a fuck, man. I forget. It's a big fucking dog. And we go out for walks and shit. And I kind of miss him. I haven't spoken to him in a bit, but I love that man. Besides that, you know, like I said, it's just scenes, a bunch of scenes. So
I hear you. That's good to know, man. I got to get back down to Florida. It's been a minute. Probably not in the first half of this year, but you never know. There's always an opportunity. If I ever get within striking distance, I'll come say hi. We'll go get a coffee.
sweet. Hell yeah, man.
Great to see you again. Keep up the good work on everything. We're gonna link everything in the description and share everything you've got going on, the EP
Okay.
and the album, and just keep making more, and we'll keep listening and supporting them.
Thank you so much, Keefy. You're the
Hey,
best.
Gaby, it's always great to see you, man. We'll see you soon. Okay,
All right. Take care.
peace.
Peace out, man.